Just got fired for refusing to cook at closing time. I work at a somewhat decent restaurant, but we always have people ordering up until closing. Now the kitchen hours are 4:10. Tonight I get a ticket at 10:00. I refuse to make it since the kitchen is closed, and everything is shut off. My boss comes to me and tells me to make it. And I said sorry, the kitchen closes at 10:00. Not during 10:00. Not after 10:00. At 10:00. She goes off on me telling me that I have to make food. Up until 10:01. This is all new to me since I've been leaving at 10:00 for years. Am I in the wrong here? I've always assumed if a kitchen was open until 10:00 they closed at 10:00 on the dot. What the fuck kind of restaurant does not have a clear policy for closing the kitchen? Even my hole-in-the-wall bar will send staff around to tell people the kitchen is closing. And when the kitchen shuts down, that's it. Don't ever cook in a kitchen that doesn't have a clear policy from management about the time that the kitchen is shut down. And all servers coordinate the closing every night. Worked in a kitchen for years. I shut shit down 10 till after telling front of house. No one ever complained. If the kitchen is closed at 10, orders should stop being taken at like 9:30:40. It's not last orders at 10. It's closed at 10. As in no more food is coming out. Never worked in a kitchen, but I always followed last call at bar's rule. I.e., bar closes at 2 a.m. Last call is always 1:40, 1:45. Maybe 1:50-ish on a slow night. Understandable. Hope you find a new job soon. I worked at a restaurant bar that was open until 3 a.m. We stopped taking orders for the kitchen at 2 a.m. so they could finish everything and close the kitchen down at 3 a.m. If someone wanted to order after 2 a.m., we had to ask the kitchen staff if they would take the order. If they said yes, we put the order in. If they said no, the customer was out of luck. I had a GM many years ago that insisted that our hours were we seat customers from 15 minutes before opening to 15 minutes after close. So technically the customer could sit down at 11:14 p.m. bullshit and have drinks for half an hour. Then order dinner. Which didn't happen all the time. But when it did, not a damn thing we could do about it. But that was our store policy. And told to us when we were hired and trained. It still sucked though. Fuck them, you did the right thing. Most restaurants, unless it's fast food, stop taking orders before closing time. Your boss is an egotistical douchebag. I'm sure you'll find a new job before it's a problem. But apply for unemployment and appeal the probable initial denial. They can fire you for any reason or no reason. But an administrative judge is not likely going to call this firing a grounds for a denial of benefits. Following the rules as they've always been up until that point and not working overtime on short notice is clearly a bullshit reason to can someone. Worked in a 5-star restaurant. We would take orders up to about 15 minutes before close. No professional management would be heartless enough to make you open the kitchen up at the point it is completely shut down. I own restaurants and the closing time is set in stone, 11 p.m. No questions, no buts. It gives staff time to clean up and close up for taxis that I again pay for. Everyone should be out in 45 minutes and on their way home. I'm not interested in paying staff overtime for a customer that may or may not come back. My regular customers know the operational rules and appreciate that staff need to get home, and especially at weekends when taxis can be hard to organize. I read this and immediately felt a chill down my spine. You're going to get the line cooks all fucking riled up. Now time to call the health inspector and report every single thing wrong with the place. I've been in many adult beverage dispensaries where I tried to order fries or a burger. Was told the kitchen closes in 30 minutes and I was too late. I could get some pretzels though. So sorry to hear this. I'm always astounded when people walk into a restaurant minutes before closing and then expect to be able to order after closing. Where I've worked, the kitchen has never been treated like that. Servers owners always ask nice if it was possible to order if they got a late seating. If everything's off and out away, they're crazy to ask. You might very well get a call from your boss asking you to come back. It's hard to find reliable people these days. And you sure sound like one. Good luck. Restaurant workers need to unionize. Most of my jobs made it so that as long as the order is in by 10, it has to be made. My current job, a table walked in 3 minutes before closing. Hostess told them we close in 3 minutes. They still asked for a table. Server asked if they knew what they'd like. They didn't order their appetizer until 15 minutes past close. Maddening. Why doesn't management tell these people to hit the bricks? It's not worth it, ever, to stay open and keep like 5 staff members on for a single table. Hope your chef calls you back in the morning and tells you to bring your ass back. Unless she was the chef. That ship was docked. Kitchen is closed. And that's it. What do they expect? You cut everything back on and start cooking? Anyone that comes in within like 5 to 10 minutes of closing time and expects to sit down and eat an entire meal while make everyone stay longer to clean up afterwards should also expect spit in their food. Let alone coming in at closing time and expecting you to turn everything back on for a single customer. Bar closes at 2:00, last call is at 1:30. Closing time isn't last order, it's GTFO. I've never worked in a restaurant, but even I think it's a giga-dick move to walk in right before closing expecting to get a meal. It's selfish as fuck. You have to put your foot down. If you don't, you'll soon be mackin' food till 11. Never give them even a single minute. Manager, you won't cook this. So I'm going to fire now. You can't cook this. Sound logic. S. Either way, shit isn't getting cooked unless someone else does it. Which, if I worked in that kitchen, I wouldn't be cooking it either. I guess people do this but typically don't order food later than a half hour before they close. I worked in a restaurant for like 3 years when I was younger. I know what it's like. Your boss is a piece of shit. That's some BS. Every kitchen I worked in had a no new orders past 9:45 rule. If they were open that late. This is one of many reasons why I left food service after 25 years. I grow weed legally, and I'm much happier. For the record, if you walk into a restaurant when the kitchen is about to close and order, you are a flaming pile of shit. At Hardee's we would close and then there would be a half hour to an hour of cleaning after close, where we were still on the clock. If someone came in 1 minute before close we would make their food shittily. And it would just mean it might take a little longer to clean up after close. It would have been way more of a pain in the ass to try and serve people at a diner with a proper kitchen though. 01. Then 02. Manager is a boss and probably hunting for a bonus or just getting into a pissing contest. This is a manager problem. As in, they let the bullshit roll to the bottom. And that fell on you. Obviously. Find a new place to work. Customers. Bunch of whiny lil bitches. Kitchen hours are 4:10. Sort of makes it sound like closed is 10:01. There should be a firm last order time though. That's the issue here. Like 9:30 or 9:45. I never understood this. Restaurant profit margins are tiny anyway. You're losing like $5.10 to send those last customers of the night away. Makes no sense.